Hello, beautiful Leo souls, and welcome back to Cosmic Blueprints Astrology. I'm Sino, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today as we explore what the cosmos has in store for all of you radiant, creative Leo placements in 2026. If you're a Leo sun, moon, or rising, this forecast is designed specifically for you, and if you have significant Leo placements in your chart, you'll definitely want to stay tuned because 2026 is bringing major blessings and powerful transformation to your sign. But before we dive in, if you're new to our cosmic community, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a forecast. And to my loyal viewers who've been with me on this journey, thank you so much for your continued support. It means everything to me. Now let's talk about your year ahead, Leo. 2026 is a year of magnificent expansion, creative expression, and profound inner transformation. We're going to explore this journey month by month, covering all the major transits, eclipses, and planetary movements that will shape your experience. So get comfortable, shine your light, and let's dive into your cosmic blueprints for 2026. Before we get into the month-by-month breakdown, let's look at the big picture themes that will define your year, Leo. The most significant and exciting development for you is Jupiter entering Leo on June 30th. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, growth, and abundance, moves into your sign for approximately a year. This is one of the most blessed transits you can experience. Jupiter only comes through Leo every 12 years, and when it does, it brings opportunities, optimism, and amplification of everything that makes you who you are. Jupiter in the first house expands your confidence, your presence, your creativity, and your overall sense of possibility. You're magnetic, radiant, and attracting good things into your life. The second half of 2026 is your time to shine brighter than ever, Leo. Until Jupiter enters your sign, it spends the first half of your year in Cancer, in your 12th house of spirituality, the subconscious, and what lies hidden. This is actually beautiful preparation for Jupiter in Leo. You're doing deep inner work, spiritual development, and releasing old patterns before Jupiter amplifies your external presence. Saturn moves into Aries on February 13th, entering your 9th house of philosophy, higher education, travel, and expansion of consciousness. Saturn here for the next 2.5 years asks you to get serious about your education, worldview, and spiritual understanding. This is about building a solid philosophical foundation and possibly pursuing formal education or certifications. Neptune also enters Aries on January 26th, joining Saturn in your 9th house. Neptune brings spiritual depth and mystical understanding to your quest for knowledge. Together, Saturn and Neptune are asking you to develop a worldview that's both grounded in reality and open to spiritual truth. Uranus makes a major shift on April 25th, moving from Taurus into Gemini. So after 7 years of Uranus revolutionizing your 10th house of career, it moves into your 11th house of friendships, groups, and aspirations. Your professional life stabilizes while your social sphere gets an innovative shakeup. Pluto continues its journey through Aquarius in your 7th house, transforming your relationships and partnerships. You're being called to authentic partnership that honors both people's power rather than relationships based on dominance or submission. The North Node shifts from Pisces into Aquarius on July 26th, moving from your 8th house to your 7th house. Your destiny is shifting from deep transformation and shared resources to partnerships and one-on-one relationships. The second half of the year is about learning to truly partner with others. Then Chiron moves between Aries and Taurus this year, transitioning from your 9th house to your 10th house. You're moving from healing wounds around education and beliefs to healing wounds around career and public recognition. So let's zoom in on relationships because 2026 brings important developments in this area for you, Leo. The North Node entering your 7th house on July 26th is the biggest relationship story of your year. Your destiny is calling you to partnerships, collaborations, and learning to balance your strong individuality with genuine one-on-one connection. For Leo, who naturally shine as individuals, the North Node in the 7th house asks you to consider others' needs as much as your own, to compromise without resentment, and to see partnership as enhancing rather than diminishing your light. This is profound growth for a sign that can sometimes prioritize their own expression over collaborative harmony. For single Leos, the North Node in your 7th house suggests that significant partnerships are part of your destiny now. You may meet someone who becomes an important long-term partner, romantic or business. The universe is supporting committed one-on-one relationships. For partnered Leos, the North Node asks you to deepen your existing partnership. Are you truly seeing your partner, or are you so focused on your own expression that you miss who they are? Are you collaborating as equals, or is one person dominating? The North Node calls you to authentic partnership. Pluto in your 7th house throughout the year continues the deep transformation of relationships that began when Pluto entered Aquarius. Pluto doesn't do shallow, it demands authenticity, vulnerability, and willingness to address power dynamics. Some Leos may experience relationships ending under Pluto, especially if the relationship was based on false foundations or unhealthy power dynamics. Pluto clears out what's not authentic to make space for relationships that honor both people's truth and power. Mars in your 7th house in January energizes your partnerships. This is when you take action in relationships, assert your needs, or actively pursue the kind of partnership you want. Just be mindful of being too aggressive or creating unnecessary conflict. Venus retrograde in October and November affects your home and communication, which indirectly impacts relationships. If your domestic life is chaotic or your communication is unclear, relationships suffer. Venus retrograde gives you a chance to improve these foundations that support partnership. The eclipse in Pisces in your 8th house on August 28th is also significant for relationships because the 8th house governs intimacy and emotional vulnerability. This eclipse may mark a deepening of intimacy or a release of emotional patterns that were blocking true connection. The key message for Leo regarding relationships in 2026 is share the spotlight. True partnership means both people get to shine. With Jupiter in your sign making you extra magnetic and confident, make sure you're also celebrating your partner and creating space for their expression. The most powerful relationships are those where both people lift each other up. Now let's talk about career and finances, areas of significant evolution and blessing in 2026. Uranus leaving your 10th house on April 25th is incredibly significant for your career. After 7 years of revolutionary changes, unexpected career shifts, and innovative opportunities in your professional life, Uranus finally moves on. Your career can stabilize now. For Leos who thrived under Uranus in the 10th house, who used the innovative energy to create unique career paths or pivot into exciting new directions, the stabilization may feel like a relief. You can now build on the changes you've made. For Leos who struggled with Uranus's constant disruption, who experienced job loss, career uncertainty, or couldn't build anything lasting because everything kept changing, April brings profound relief. You can finally commit to a career path and build consistently without constant upheaval. Chiron entering your 10th house in June begins a healing journey around career wounds. Over the coming years, you'll address feelings of inadequacy about your accomplishments, heal wounds around recognition and authority, and ultimately become a healer through your work. Your career struggles become your wisdom. Jupiter in your sign from June 30th onward is excellent for career because the first house affects how others see you and how you present yourself professionally. Jupiter makes you more visible, more confident, and more attractive to opportunities. Employers, clients, or collaborators are drawn to your energy. The total solar eclipse in your sign on August 12th can bring significant career developments because eclipses in the first house change how you show up professionally. You may rebrand yourself, step into leadership, or start something new that reflects your evolved identity. Financially, the lunar eclipse in your second house on March 3rd is significant. This eclipse clears out old financial patterns or beliefs about your worth, making space for greater prosperity. Something ends financially to make room for something better. Mars in your second house in November motivates you to earn money and build resources actively. This is a productive period for increasing income through focused efforts. Saturn and Neptune in your ninth house suggest that career advancement may come through education, certifications, or developing expertise. Investing in your education can pay off professionally. Teaching, publishing, or sharing your knowledge can also become income streams. The overall career message is stabilization through Uranus leaving your 10th house, combined with amplification through Jupiter in your sign. You're building a stable career foundation while also being more visible and magnetic than ever. Financially, Jupiter in your sign doesn't directly affect your money house, but it creates opportunities that can lead to income. The eclipse in your second house clears old patterns. Mars in the second house motivates earning, so the overall financial picture is positive, especially if you're willing to invest in your growth and education. Now let's talk about your health and wellness for 2026, which is generally supported by Jupiter's presence. Jupiter in your sign from June 30th onward is wonderful for vitality and overall well-being. Jupiter in the first house often correlates with feeling better, having more energy, and being more optimistic, all of which support health. This is an excellent time to start new health routines because Jupiter gives you the motivation and positive attitude to maintain them. However, as with all signs, Jupiter can bring expansion in ways you don't want. Weight gain is common with Jupiter in the first house if you're not mindful. The key is channeling Jupiter's abundance toward healthy expansion, so building muscle, increasing stamina, expanding your wellness practices, rather than unconscious overindulgence. Leo rules the heart in traditional astrology, so heart health is particularly important for you. With Jupiter amplifying everything in your sign, make sure you're taking care of your cardiovascular health through regular exercise, stress management, and heart-healthy nutrition. Mars in your 12th house in August can affect sleep and energy levels. Mars in the house of rest can create restless sleep or difficulty winding down. You may need to be extra intentional about creating calming bedtime routines during this time. Jupiter in your 12th house for the first half of your year actually supports rest and rejuvenation. This placement encourages taking time for spiritual practices, adequate sleep, and internal restoration. Don't feel guilty about needing more downtime during this period. It's preparation for Jupiter entering your sign and the increased visibility that comes with it. Saturn and Neptune in your 9th house affect health indirectly through beliefs and meaning. When your life feels meaningful and aligned with your values, your health tends to improve. When you're lost or disconnected from purpose, health can suffer, so developing a philosophy or spiritual practice that sustains you is important for overall well-being. The eclipse in your sign on August 12th can be a powerful catalyst for health transformation. Some Leos may use this eclipse as motivation to completely overhaul their health routines, or lose weight, or commit to fitness goals. Others may simply feel a renewed sense of vitality and connection to their body. Venus retrograde in your 4th house in October highlights the connection between your home environment and your health. Is your home a sanctuary that supports wellness, or is it chaotic and stressful? Creating a peaceful, beautiful home environment supports your overall health. As a Leo, your health is connected to creative expression and joy. When you're expressing yourself authentically and doing things that bring you pleasure, your vitality increases. When you're suppressing your creativity or living inauthentically, your health suffers. The 5th house emphasis in December reminds you that play, creativity, and pleasure are medicine. The sun is your ruling planet, so time in sunshine and vitamin D are particularly important for Leo. Make sure you're getting adequate sunlight with appropriate protection, of course, and consider vitamin D supplementation if needed, especially during winter months. The overall health guidance for 2026 is celebrate Jupiter's vitality boost while being mindful of overindulgence. Balance is key. Prioritize your heart health through cardiovascular exercise and stress management. Create a home environment that supports wellness, especially during Venus retrograde. And remember that creative expression and joy are essential for your well-being. When Leo shines authentically, everything, including health, improves. So let's dive into January, which begins your journey toward the blessed Jupiter in Leo transit. The month opens with Jupiter in Cancer in your 12th house. This is actually beautiful energy, Leo, even though the 12th house is often misunderstood. Jupiter in your 12th house supports spiritual growth, dream work, meditation, therapy, and releasing old patterns that no longer serve you. This is preparation time. Before Jupiter enters your sign and amplifies everything about you, Jupiter in the 12th house is helping you clear out what doesn't need to be amplified. What fears, insecurities, or old patterns are you ready to release? What spiritual practices nourish your soul? Jupiter in the 12th house gives you space to figure this out. On January 23rd, Mars enters Aquarius, moving into your 7th house of partnerships. Mars here motivates you to take action in your one-on-one relationships. This is when you address issues in partnerships, assert your needs, or actively pursue the kind of relationships you want. Mars in your 7th house can create some friction in partnerships if you're being too aggressive or if your partner is. The key is asserting yourself without domineering and encouraging your partner's independence without creating distance. The most significant transit of the month happens on January 26th when Neptune enters Aries, moving into your 9th house of higher learning, travel, and philosophy. Neptune in this house brings spiritual seeking, mystical experiences, and a quest for transcendent meaning. Neptune in the 9th house can draw you to spiritual teachings, sacred travel, or philosophical systems that help you understand life's deeper mysteries. You may become interested in meditation, mysticism, or exploring different spiritual traditions. Travel to spiritually significant places may call to you too. However, Neptune can also bring confusion or idealism about education or beliefs. Be careful not to adopt belief systems uncritically or follow teachers who make unrealistic promises. Neptune asks for faith balanced with discernment. So January is asking you to go inward with Jupiter in the 12th house, while also seeking higher truth with Neptune in the 9th house. You're preparing for expansion by first expanding your consciousness. February brings several major transits that deepen your philosophical and spiritual journey. On February 3rd, Uranus goes direct in Taurus in your 10th house. Uranus has been retrograde since September 2025, and now it's moving forward again for its final months in your career sector. This direct motion can bring final professional changes or sudden clarity about your public role before Uranus moves into your 11th house. The biggest shift of the month comes on February 13th when Saturn enters Aries, moving into your 9th house to join Neptune. Saturn in the 9th house for the next 2.5 years brings structure and discipline to your quest for knowledge and meaning. Saturn here often manifests as formal education, so getting degrees, certifications, or credentials that establish your expertise. Or it might mean committing to serious study of philosophy, spirituality, or subjects that expand your understanding. Saturn asks you to build a solid educational foundation rather than just dabbling. Saturn in the 9th house can also affect travel, making it more purposeful and structured rather than spontaneous. Travel becomes about learning and growth rather than just leisure. With both Saturn and Neptune now in your ninth house, you have an interesting combination. So Saturn's structure and Neptune's mysticism, Saturn's realism and Neptune's idealism. The key is integrating both, developing spiritual beliefs that are grounded in reality, pursuing education that expands your consciousness, and committing to learning with both discipline and openness. On February 26th, Mercury goes retrograde in Pisces in your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, and transformation. This retrograde asks you to review deep emotional or financial matters. Are there conversations you need to have about shared resources or intimacy? Mercury retrograde gives you time to think before taking action. Mercury retrograde in the 8th house can bring back issues from the past, so old debts, unresolved emotional matters, or power dynamics that need addressing. Use this time to process rather than pushing forward with major decisions involving other people's resources or deep intimacy. February is fundamentally about getting serious with your quest for meaning with Saturn in your 9th house, while remaining open to spiritual mystery with Neptune in the 9th house. You're building a worldview that can support the expansion Jupiter will bring when it enters your sign. March brings powerful eclipse energy that catalyzes change in your communication and learning. So on March 2nd, Mars enters Pisces, moving into your 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. Mars here motivates you to address deep emotional or financial matters directly. This is when you have the courage to have difficult conversations, to set boundaries in intimate relationships, or to handle shared finances decisively. Mars in the 8th house isn't afraid of intensity or depth. You're willing to go into uncomfortable emotional territory if it leads to greater intimacy and authenticity in your relationships. The very next day, March 3rd, we have a full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 2nd house of money, possessions, and self-worth. This is a powerful culmination or ending related to your finances or sense of value. Eclipses bring sudden changes and revelations. This lunar eclipse might mark a shift in income, the completion of a financial situation, or a realization about your self-worth. You're being asked to release financial patterns or beliefs about your value that no longer serve you. The 2nd house is about what you have and what you're worth. This eclipse is clearing out whatever's blocking your prosperity or preventing you from recognizing your true value. On March 10th, Jupiter goes direct in Cancer in your 12th house. So Jupiter has been retrograde since November 2025, and now it's moving forward again, accelerating spiritual growth and inner work that you've been doing. The final months of Jupiter in your 12th house before it enters your sign are particularly potent for releasing what no longer serves you. March is approaching spring equinox, and as a fire sign, you'll feel the increasing solar energy and warmth. This is naturally energizing for Leo, and despite the eclipse intensity, there's optimism and renewal in the air. The eclipse in your 2nd house is preparing you financially for Jupiter entering your sign later in the year. Whatever this eclipse clears out in your financial life is making space for Jupiter's abundance. April brings significant planetary shifts that affect your career and social landscape. On April 9th, Mars enters Aries, moving into your 9th house to join Saturn and Neptune. Mars here gives you the drive and courage to pursue higher education, travel, or philosophical exploration actively. This is when you take action on your quest for meaning and growth. Mars joining Saturn and Neptune creates a powerful concentration of energy in your 9th house. You have ambition through Mars, structured through Saturn, and vision through Neptune, all focused on expansion, learning, and understanding life's bigger questions. Then on April 25th, Uranus enters Gemini, moving from your 10th house into your 11th house of friendships, groups, and aspirations. After 7 years of Uranus revolutionizing your career and public image, the planet of innovation moves into your social sphere. Uranus leaving your 10th house means your career should finally stabilize after years of unexpected changes, disruptions, or innovative opportunities. You can build something lasting professionally now that Uranus isn't constantly shaking things up. Uranus in Gemini in your 11th house brings revolutionary changes to your friendships, social networks, and involvement in groups or causes. Over the next 7 years, your social circle will transform completely. You'll attract unusual, innovative people who challenge you intellectually. Your aspirations and long-term goals may change suddenly as new possibilities reveal themselves. Uranus in the 11th house is excellent for networking, especially in innovative or technological fields. Your friends become more diverse and unconventional. You're drawn to groups working on cutting-edge ideas or progressive causes. So April is about taking action on your quest for knowledge and meaning through Mars in the 9th house, while your social sphere begins to revolutionize with Uranus in the 11th house. You're expanding both your understanding and your network. So May continues the expansive energy while adding some reflective elements. With Mars still in your 9th house, you're actively pursuing learning, travel, or philosophical exploration. This is an excellent time for Leos who want to study, teach, travel to meaningful places, or engage with ideas that broaden your worldview. On May 6th, Pluto goes retrograde in Aquarius in your 7th house. So Pluto has been transforming your partnerships and one-on-one relationships, and now it's retrograde until October. This is the time to integrate the relationship transformations rather than push deeper. Pluto retrograde asks, what have you learned about yourself through your relationships? Where do power dynamics need adjustments? What patterns in relationships are you ready to release? This retrograde gives you time to process and consolidate the profound changes in how you relate to others. On May 18th, Mars enters Taurus, moving into your 10th house of career for its final pass through the sector before Uranus leaves. Mars here motivates you to take action professionally, to build your reputation, and to pursue career goals with determination and persistence. Mars in Taurus is steady, practical, and committed. You're not rushing your career development. You're building it methodically and consistently. This is excellent energy for completing career projects, establishing yourself as an authority, or laying groundwork for future success. May asks you to balance your philosophical expansion, which has been strung with multiple planets in your 9th house, with practical career building with the Mars in your 10th house. You need both the vision and the work ethic. June is a momentous month with Jupiter preparing to enter your sign and other significant transits. On June 19th, Chiron enters Taurus, moving into your 10th house of career and public reputation. Chiron is the wounded healer, and in your career sector, it brings up wounds around achievement, recognition, authority, and your place in the professional world. Chiron in the 10th house can surface feelings of inadequacy about your accomplishments, fear that you're not qualified or good enough, or wounds around how you were recognized or not recognized in your career. But Chiron's purpose is healing these wounds so you can claim your rightful place and authority. This placement is also about becoming a healer through your work. Your career wounds become your wisdom, and you can heal others who struggle with similar professional insecurities or challenges. On June 28th, Mars enters Gemini, moving into your 11th house of friendships and groups. Mars here energizes your social life and motivates you to take action within communities. You're assertive in friendships, actively pursuing your aspirations, and possibly taking leadership in groups. The very next day, June 29th, Mercury goes retrograde in Cancer in your 12th house. This retrograde affects your inner world, your subconscious patterns, and your spiritual life. This is a time for deep reflection rather than external action. So review your spiritual practices, pay attention to dreams, and consider what your subconscious is trying to tell you. Mercury retrograde in the 12th house asks for solitude and introspection. This is actually perfect timing because the very next day, Jupiter enters your sign and you'll need the clarity this retrograde provides. And then on June 30th, the moment you've been waiting for arrives. Jupiter enters Leo. This is huge, Leo. Jupiter in your sign for the next year is one of the most blessed transits you can experience. Jupiter amplifies everything about being a Leo: your confidence, creativity, generosity, warmth, and natural leadership. Jupiter in your first house brings opportunities, recognition, and a sense that life is expanding in wonderful ways. People are drawn to your light. You're magnetic, more optimistic, and more willing to take risks on yourself. This is your time to shine, to express yourself fully, and to be seen for the magnificent person you are. The second half of 2026 and into 2027 is fundamentally about you stepping into your power, being visible, and allowing yourself to be celebrated for your gifts. July brings your blessed Jupiter in Leo period with some important retrograde activity. With Jupiter now in your sign, you're feeling more confident, optimistic, and ready to embrace opportunities. This is when Leo truly comes alive. You're warm, generous, creative, and magnetic. People want to be around you, and opportunities seem to find you more easily. On July 7th, Neptune goes retrograde in Aries in your ninth house. Neptune has only been in Aries since January, but now it's retrograde until December. This retrograde helps you integrate the spiritual seeking and philosophical exploration you've been experiencing. Jupiter retrograde can provide clarity about your beliefs and spiritual path. You may better understand what spiritual practices or philosophical perspectives actually resonate with you versus what you thought you should adopt. This is about finding your authentic truth. July 26th is a significant day with two major astrological events. First, Saturn goes retrograde in Aries in your ninth house. So Saturn entered this house in February, and now it's retrograde until mid-November. This retrograde gives you time to review your educational commitments and philosophical development. Saturn retrograde asks, are you studying what truly matters to you or what you think you should learn? Is your worldview serving you or limiting you? Are you being too rigid in your beliefs? This retrograde helps you adjust your approach to learning and meaning making. Also on July 26th, the North Node retrograde enters Aquarius, moving from Pisces into your seventh house of partnerships. This is a major shift in your destined path. For the past 18 months, the North Node in Pisces was calling you to deep transformation and psychological growth. Now the North Node in Aquarius is calling you to partnerships, collaborations, and learning to truly share your life with another. Your destiny for the next 18 months involves relationships, so learning to compromise, to see others' perspectives, and to balance your strong Leo individuality with genuine partnership. This is about moving from me to we without losing yourself. So July is about shining with Jupiter in your sign, while also being called to partnership with North Node in your seventh house. You're learning that true leadership includes collaboration, and true strength includes vulnerability in relationships. August is eclipse season, and one of the eclipses happens in your sign, making this an incredibly significant month. On August 3rd, Chiron goes retrograde in Taurus in your 10th house. So Chiron just entered this house in June, and now it's retrograde, which will actually take it back into Aries on September 17th. This back and forth motion shows you're transitioning between healing philosophical wounds in the 9th house and healing career wounds in the 10th house. Chiron retrograde asks you to review what's surfaced about your professional worthiness and authority. Be patient with yourself as these wounds process. Healing isn't linear. On August 11th, Mars enters Cancer, moving into your 12th house of spirituality and the subconscious. Mars in the 12th house can feel frustrating because your normally direct Leo energy becomes more internal. This is not a time for external battles, it's a time for inner work. Mars in the 12th house is excellent for spiritual practices, meditation, or therapy. You're motivated to explore your subconscious, face hidden fears, or release old anger that's been buried. This internal work is preparing you for the significant eclipse the next day. On August 12th, we have a new moon total solar eclipse in Leo in your sign. This is absolutely massive. A total solar eclipse in your first house is a profound reset of your identity, appearance, and how you show up in the world. Solar eclipses are new beginnings, and this one is opening a powerful new chapter in your life. Combined with Jupiter in Leo, this eclipse is supercharged with potential. You may feel called to completely reinvent yourself, to express yourself more authentically, to step into a leadership role, or to start something significant that reflects who you're becoming. This eclipse is planting seeds that will develop over the next 6 months and beyond. Whatever begins around this time related to your identity and self-expression has major long-term significance. This is your cosmic initiation into a new version of yourself. For Leos who have been playing it small or hiding their light, this eclipse is your wake-up call. And for Leos already shining, this eclipse amplifies your radiance and impact even more. Then on August 28th, we have a full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, and transformation. This eclipse is a culmination or ending related to deep emotional or financial matters involving others. Lunar eclipses are about release. What dynamic and intimate relationships needs to end? What shared financial situation requires completion? What psychological pattern are you ready to transform? This eclipse is clearing your inner and interpersonal landscape as you step into your new identity. The two eclipses together, the solar in Leo in your sign and lunar in Pisces in your 8th house, are balancing self-expression with intimacy, independence with vulnerability, and shining your light with sharing power. You're being asked to be both magnificently yourself and genuinely connected to others. September brings transitions as summer ends and you integrate the powerful eclipse transformations. On September 10th, Uranus goes retrograde in Gemini in your 11th house. Uranus just entered this house in April and now it's retrograde until early 2027. This retrograde turns the social revolution inward, helping you integrate the changes in your friendships and aspirations. Uranus retrograde in your 11th house may bring back people or opportunities from earlier in the year. You're consolidating your new social network and clarifying your long-term goals before Uranus goes direct and the external revolution continues. On September 17th, Chiron retrograde re-enters Aries, moving back into your 9th house. So Chiron dips back into your philosophical sector for one final healing push around education, beliefs, and your quest for meaning before it fully commits to your career house next year. So pay attention to what comes up emotionally around your beliefs or education during this time. Old wounds around feeling inadequate, not educated enough, or not spiritually developed enough may resurface for final healing. Chiron is giving you one more opportunity to address these wounds. September is Virgo season, activating your 2nd house of money, possessions, and self-worth. So after the intense identity transformation of the Leo eclipse, September asks you to focus on practical matters, so your finances, resources, recognizing your value. This is an excellent month for budgeting, increasing income, or getting clear about what you value. Virgo energy helps you organize your financial life and create systems that support your prosperity. With Jupiter still in your sign, September continues the blessed energy. You're integrating the eclipse transformation while also enjoying Jupiter's amplification of your confidence and opportunities. October brings several retrogrades that ask you to slow down and review, especially regarding creativity and pleasure. On October 3rd, Venus goes retrograde in Scorpio in your 4th house of home, family, and emotional foundations. Venus retrograde here asks you to review the beauty, harmony, and emotional quality of your domestic life. Venus retrograde in your fourth house asks, does your home feel beautiful and nurturing? Are your family relationships balanced and loving? What needs to change in your emotional foundation to feel more secure and peaceful? This is a time to reassess your relationship with home and family. On October 15th, Pluto goes direct in Aquarius in your 7th house. Pluto has been retrograde since May, and now it's moving forward again, accelerating the transformation of your partnerships. Relationship dynamics that we're processing internally during the retrograde may now manifest in external changes. On October 24th, Mercury goes retrograde in Scorpio, also in your 4th house. This compounds the Venus retrograde themes. Communication about family matters becomes important now. You're reviewing and possibly revisiting your emotional foundations and domestic situation. Mercury retrograde in the 4th house can bring up memories from the past or require conversations with family members. This is a good time to process family history and understand how your upbringing affects your current emotional patterns. The very next day, October 25th, Venus retrograde enters Libra, moving into your 3rd house of communication and learning. Venus is exalted in Libra, and even though it's retrograde, this shift brings some ease. You're reviewing how you communicate, think, and connect with your immediate environment. Venus retrograde in your 3rd house asks about the beauty and harmony of your daily life. Do you enjoy your daily routines? Are your conversations pleasant? Is there beauty in your immediate surroundings? October is fundamentally a month of reviewing your emotional foundations in the 4th house and your daily life quality in the 3rd house. The retrogrades are asking you to get honest about what's working and what needs to change. November brings some relief as retrogrades end, and you can move forward with greater clarity. On November 25th, Mars enters Virgo, moving into your 2nd house of money and possessions. Mars here motivates you to earn money, build resources, and create financial security. This is a productive period for focusing on income-generating activities. Mars in Virgo is practical, efficient, and detail-oriented. You're willing to work hard for what you want to build financially, and you're strategic about how you earn and save. This is excellent energy for increasing income through diligent effort. Around mid-November, both Mercury and Venus go direct, which brings relief to the family and communication challenges of October. Domestic matters become clearer, family relationships improve, and you can move forward with decisions about home or emotional foundations that were on hold. November is Scorpio season, continuing to emphasize your 4th house of home and family. Even as Mercury and Venus go direct, the Scorpio energy asks for depth and authenticity in your emotional life. This isn't about surface level harmony. It's more about real emotional intimacy with family and genuine security in your foundation. With Jupiter still blessing your sign, November continues the positive momentum. You're feeling confident, magnetic, and optimistic even while working through family or domestic matters. December closes out the year with Sagittarius energy and a significant Jupiter retrograde. So on December 12th, Jupiter goes retrograde in Leo in your sign. Jupiter has been blessing you since June, and now it's retrograde until 2027. So this isn't a problem. It's asking you to integrate the growth and expansion rather than continuing to expand externally. Jupiter retrograde in your sign asks, have you been authentic in how you've been showing up, or have you been performing? Are you truly confident, or are you overcompensating? Is the recognition you're receiving genuine or superficial? This retrograde helps you ensure your expansion is real and internally motivated. Jupiter retrograde is also a time to consolidate your gains. What opportunities have opened since June? How can you make the most of them? What aspects of yourself that Jupiter has amplified do you want to keep? And what was just temporary inflation? December is Sagittarius season, activating your fifth house of creativity, romance, pleasure, and self-expression. This is beautiful energy to end the year with because the fifth house is naturally joyful, playful, and expressive, all qualities that resonate with Leo. December is ideal for creative projects, romantic adventures, playful activities, or simply expressing yourself with joy and authenticity. The holiday season is particularly fun for Leo this year. You're the life of the party, generous with gifts and affection, and bringing warmth to everyone around you. As the year winds down, take time to reflect on the extraordinary journey you've experienced. You started 2026 doing deep spiritual work with Jupiter in your 12th house. You navigated Saturn and Neptune entering your 9th house, calling you to serious philosophical and educational growth. You experienced Uranus moving from your career sector into your friendship sector, stabilizing your professional life while revolutionizing your social sphere. You witnessed your destiny shift from transformation to partnership as the North Node entered your 7th house. Most significantly, you received Jupiter's incredible blessing when it entered your sign on June 30th, and you had a total solar eclipse in your sign on August 12th. A profound identity reset that happens rarely in a lifetime. You're ending the year more confident, more recognized, more yourself than you've ever been. You've stepped into your power, Leo, and the world has noticed. So as we wrap up this comprehensive forecast, my advice for navigating 2026. First, embrace Jupiter's blessing when it enters your sign. This is your year to go for what you want, to be visible, to express yourself fully. Don't play small or hide your light. Jupiter is amplifying you for a reason. The world needs your warmth, creativity, and leadership. Second, use the first half of the year with Jupiter in your 12th house for deep spiritual work and releasing old patterns. Before Jupiter amplifies you externally, make sure you've cleared out what doesn't need to be amplified. This preparation makes Jupiter in your sign even more powerful. Third, take the eclipse in your sign seriously. August 12th is a profound opportunity for reinvention. Set intentions for who you want to become. Make changes that reflect your authentic self. This eclipse is a cosmic gift, so use it wisely. Fourth, invest in your education and philosophical development. Saturn in your 9th house rewards serious study, and the knowledge you gain now will serve you for decades. Whether formal education or self-directed learning, expand your mind and understanding. Fifth, learn to truly partner. The North Node in your 7th house is calling you to balance your strong individuality with genuine collaboration. Practice seeing others' perspectives, compromising without resentment, and creating win-win situations. The right partnerships amplify your impact. Sixth, stabilize your career. With Uranus finally leaving your 10th house, you can commit to a professional path and build consistently. Use this stability to create something lasting rather than constantly seeking the next exciting thing. Seventh, take care of your heart, both physically and emotionally. Leo rules the heart, and with Jupiter amplifying everything, heart health through exercise, nutrition, stress management is crucial. Emotionally, protect your generous heart by choosing relationships and opportunities worthy of your energy. And finally, remember that you're the sign of creative expression, Leo. You're here to shine, to create, to lead with warmth and generosity, and to inspire others to embrace their own light. With Jupiter in your sign and an eclipse there, 2026 is asking you to step fully into this role. So don't apologize for your brightness. Don't dim yourself to make others comfortable. Don't hide your gifts because someone might be jealous. Shine fully, unapologetically. The world doesn't need more hidden lights. It needs Leos brave enough to be brilliant. This is your year of coronation, Leo. Jupiter is placing a crown on your head and saying, you are magnificent. Now go show the world. Accept this blessing, step into your throne, lead with heart, create with courage, love with generosity, and shine so brightly that others are inspired to find their own light. Thank you so much for spending this time with me exploring your 2026 forecast. If this resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment sharing what you're most excited about with Jupiter entering your sign, and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss the monthly forecast throughout the year. Wishing you a radiant, abundant, and magnificent 2026, Leo. May Jupiter's blessings overflow in your life. May the eclipse awaken your truest self, and may you shine with such authenticity and brilliance that you light up the world around you. But until next time, have a blessed 2026, and I'll see you in the next video.